Join me as we take an in-depth look at one of the most intense and polarizing confrontations to surface within the Christian community in recent times: the public exchange between Pastor Gino Jennings and Apostle Herman Murray. This debate has captured widespread attention not merely because of the figures involved, but because it exposes deeper tensions surrounding doctrine, leadership, accountability, and authenticity within today's church. Both Gino Jennings and Apostle Herman Murray are influential leaders with devoted followings. Each has shaped the beliefs and practices of many through preaching, teaching, and public ministry. Yet their approaches to scripture, leadership, and the role of the church differ significantly. These differences have led to friction in the past, but the most recent exchange has brought those tensions into sharper focus than ever before. At the core of the debate is the question of doctrinal integrity. Gino Jennings has long been known for his uncompromising stance on scripture, emphasizing strict adherence to what he views as biblical truth without accommodation to cultural trends. In this confrontation, Jennings accuses Apostle Murray of softening scripture to make it more appealing to modern audiences. He argues that this approach prioritizes relevance over righteousness and comfort over conviction. According to Jennings, when scripture is reinterpreted to align with societal norms, it loses its authority. He believes that this shift creates confusion among believers, particularly those seeking clarity and certainty in their faith. From his perspective, the church's responsibility is not to mirror culture, but to challenge it, even when that message is unpopular or difficult to accept. Jennings stresses that the dilution of doctrine does not happen all at once. Instead, it occurs gradually, through subtle changes in language, emphasis, and teaching priorities. Over time, he argues, these compromises weaken the foundation of faith and leave congregants vulnerable to misunderstanding core principles of Christianity. Beyond doctrine, leadership style becomes another major point of contention. Jennings characterizes Apostle Murray's leadership as overly centralized and resistant to critique. He claims that questioning authority within Murray's organization is discouraged, and that dissenting voices are often dismissed rather than engaged. Jennings argues that true spiritual leadership should invite accountability, humility, and open dialogue. He warns that when leaders become insulated from criticism, they risk elevating personal authority above spiritual responsibility. In such environments, he suggests, loyalty can replace truth, and obedience can overshadow discernment. This criticism resonates with broader concerns within the Christian community about leadership culture. Many believers are increasingly wary of structures that place leaders beyond scrutiny. Jennings' remarks tap into these anxieties, framing the issue as not just personal, but systemic. Financial transparency also emerges as a sensitive topic during the exchange. Jennings raises questions about how church funds are managed and whether congregants are adequately informed about financial decisions. While he does not provide detailed public evidence, his implication of opacity has fueled speculation and debate. For many observers, this aspect of the confrontation highlights a recurring challenge facing religious institutions. Trust between leaders and congregants depends heavily on transparency, especially when finances are involved. Even the perception of secrecy can erode confidence and strain relationships within a church community. The discussion intensifies when Jennings references what he describes as serious misconduct connected to Apostle Murray. He presents this as an example of deeper organizational issues rather than an isolated incident. The statement has a dramatic impact, prompting immediate reactions from supporters and critics alike. The implications of such claims are significant. If substantiated, they could severely damage reputations and destabilize ministries. If unproven, they raise questions about the ethics of public accusation. Either way, the exchange underscores how quickly controversy can ripple through faith communities. As the dust settles, many within the Christian world are left grappling with difficult questions. How should conflicts between prominent leaders be handled? What is the appropriate balance between public accountability and private resolution? And how should believers respond when spiritual authorities clash openly? Amid this controversy, Apostle Herman Murray's own words have sparked another layer of reflection, particularly his statement that many churches today have a look. This phrase, though simple, carries profound implications for congregants and leaders alike. By referring to the look, Murray appears to challenge the idea that church participation is always rooted in genuine faith. Instead, he suggests that some believers may be more focused on appearance, routine, or social identity than on spiritual transformation. This assertion has prompted many to examine their motivations for attending church. Congregants are asking themselves uncomfortable but necessary questions. Why am I here? Is my involvement driven by spiritual hunger or by habit and expectation? Am I seeking growth or merely maintaining an image? Reports from within various churches indicate that Murray's statement has sparked meaningful conversations. In some congregations, members are openly discussing authenticity in worship, service, and community engagement. These discussions have led individuals to reassess whether their faith is actively lived or passively performed. This process of self-examination is not easy. For some it brings conviction and renewal. For others it triggers defensiveness or frustration. Being confronted with the possibility that faith has become routine rather than transformative can be unsettling. Some congregants feel that Murray's words unfairly criticize sincere believers who are doing their best to live faithfully. Others worry that emphasizing appearances risks creating division by framing certain behaviors as shallow or insincere. These reactions reflect the complexity of addressing complacency without alienating those who feel targeted. Nevertheless, the underlying message resonates with a broader call for authenticity within the church. Faith, according to this perspective, is not about presentation, status, or public perception. It is about inward transformation expressed through outward action. Looking toward the future, the potential impact of this moment could be far-reaching. Churches that take these critiques seriously may experience renewed spiritual vitality. Leaders who prioritize accountability, transparency, and humility can foster environments where growth is encouraged and questions are welcomed. Such communities may see increased engagement, deeper study of Scripture, and stronger relationships among members. When authenticity replaces performance, faith becomes more resilient and meaningful. Conversely, congregations that ignore these warnings risk stagnation. When image-focused participation and unchecked leadership dominate, spiritual growth often slows. Over time, members may disengage, feeling disconnected from the purpose and mission of the church. The confrontation between Gino Jennings and Apostle Herman Murray, while contentious, serves as a mirror reflecting broader challenges within modern Christianity. It exposes tensions between tradition and adaptation, authority and accountability, appearance and authenticity. Ultimately, this exchange is not just about two leaders or a single debate. It is about the direction of the church and the values it chooses to uphold. It invites believers to reflect on what faith truly means in practice, not just in principle. Faith is not measured by titles, platforms, or outward displays. It is revealed through integrity, humility, and a commitment to truth. Whether this moment leads to division or renewal depends largely on how leaders and congregants respond. As the conversation continues, the Christian community watches closely. The questions raised cannot be easily dismissed, and the answers will shape not only individual ministries, but the spiritual health of churches for years to come. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.